Most of you watching probably want to become an exceptional leader. Maybe you're in a management position and you want to level up and learn leadership habits to make you exceptional. Or maybe you're a high-achieving professional who wants to become an exceptional leader one day. There are 4 leadership habits that you need to know about if you want to become not a mediocre leader, but an exceptional leader. Starting with practice big picture thinking. The ability to think big and to create a vision is what separates managers from leaders. You see, when you're in a management position, you are focused on the day-to-day tasks and the things that need to be done. And you are really good at that. And you should be, because it's your job. But when you move into leadership, things change. You need to shift your focus from the short-term vision of the day-to-day goals to a more long-term vision, where you come up with the big picture, with the vision, with the big goals, and you strategize ways to achieve those goals. This can be challenging in practice, so here are 3 tips to get you started. Become familiar with the corporate vision and goals of the organization, because all of the big picture thinking that you do as a leader on a team level should be in line with those corporate goals. Put aside time for brainstorming. In order to think big, you need the mental space to do so. But so many of us get busy, we get preoccupied, and this forces us to just focus on the day-to-day tasks to keep that short-term vision. Whereas when we want to develop that long-term vision for big picture thinking, we need to make the space and the mental space in our work life to do so. Step back from the situation and ask questions. Focusing on the how or the why when you're faced with a situation will force you to think deeper about it and to think bigger as well. And the why isn't important just for you as a leader and for your big picture thinking. It's also important for your team, especially when you want to motivate them to help you achieve your big goals. The why gives people context. It helps them understand the purpose of your big goal and the reason why they should help you achieve that big goal. This is important because your team needs to clearly see the big picture, just like you. They're not in your head. You might know why that goal is important, and because you know the why, this motivates you to achieve that goal. But if your team don't have a connection between the goal and the why, the reason they should achieve that goal as well, they won't be motivated to achieve that goal like you are. At best, they'll perform the tasks that they need to do, probably adequately, but you won't get that injection of passion or of intention like you would if they were totally on board with you. And the why also tells your team whether the smaller goals that they individually are working on will help lead them to the big vision that you have. So in that sense, the why and the goals are clearly linked. If you like what you've learned so far in this video, you will definitely like my podcast, The Leadership Pod. The advantage of this is you can listen and learn about leadership tips while you are driving, while you are cleaning the house, or while you are running. If you want to learn more about The Leadership Pod, I'll put the link in the description below. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcasts, and all of the major podcasting platforms. So take a look at the link in the description below. Explaining the why requires you to be very clear with your communication, which is the next habit you need if you want to become an exceptional leader. I've said in many of my other videos on becoming more articulate that your speech is a reflection of your thinking. This means that your thoughts need to be organized in your mind first before you go and communicate them. In terms of the individual tasks that need to be performed by people in your team, you as a leader, you need to know what they are. You need to know how they should be performed so you can clearly explain this process to them. You also need to be clear in terms of deadlines and expectations. So when you delegate to people in your team, make sure you allocate some time to explain the deadline that you are looking for and the expectations that you have of that person. A lot of poor task performance isn't because of the skill level or lack of skill level of people in your team. It's often because of lack of communication from the leader when they are explaining what they want their team to do and what they expect of them. You need this to be clear in your mind first. Remember, your mind first, so you can then go on and communicate what you want to your team. Don't be afraid of communicating things multiple times. Over communication is actually a good thing in leadership. Make sure you allow time for your team to ask you questions so they can clarify their understanding on their end too. This will help ensure that you are all on the same page and give you the best chance for your big goals to be met. And when they do ask you questions, you really need to listen to what they're saying. This is actually something you should be doing in every interaction you have with them. Listening is one of the key skills and habits that exceptional leaders practice. And in my opinion, it is the hidden gem that makes them exceptional. I mean, how many times have you heard people complain of leaders who don't listen? Leaders who look at you when you're talking, but you know they're not really taking in your message. They're not really understanding what you're saying. This may have happened to you at some stage in your career. If it has, let me know about it in the comments below. Compare this to leaders who truly listen, leaders who make you feel like they are with you in that moment, like you are the only person they are focused on at that time. This is the kind of leader you need to become if you want to be exceptional. So when your team talk to you, make sure you free your mind from all other distractions. Those things aren't important at that time. In the moment, when someone in your team has a question, a struggle, or a problem they're talking to you about, this should be the only thing on your mind. You need this free mental space if you want any chance to help them through that problem, the question, or the struggle. And if you want them to get on with their work so they can continue to work towards those big goals you've set, then it's in your best interest to make this time. And more importantly, according to this article in Fast Company, by listening, managers can give employees the leadership support they actually need, rather than what they think their employees need. Of course, one of the biggest obstacles that emerging leaders need to overcome if they want to become an exceptional leader is their mindset. There are so many blocks when it comes to mindset that can prevent you from thinking you can ever become a good leader. I encourage you to start working through these mindset blocks by watching this video up here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got a lot of valuable tips and insights on how to become an exceptional leader. If you did like it, please hit the like button below. Subscribe to my channel as well. Hit the notification bell too so you know every time I release a new video. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next week in another video.